So good day everyone. So we are the group 3 and we are assigned to talk about the copy reading and proofreading symbols. So when we write articles for our school paper, so we don't just write and publish right away. So we go through a lot of process to make sure that our work is accurate, clear and polished. So that's where copy reading and proofreading come in. So now, but first we are going to know what is the difference between copy reading and proofreading. So, copy reading is the process of checking the content of the article. So this includes correcting grammar, sentence structure, spelling, and most importantly, making sure that the information rather is factual and that the writing follows the publication style or format. So, for example, a copy reader checks if the article flows smoothly, if the facts are accurate, and if it fits the journalistic tone of the newspaper. So, basically, copy reading is about improving the overall quality and clarity of the article. So now we are going to talk about the proofreading. So proofreading comes after the copy reading. So it's the final step before the publication. So here, the focus is on spotting small errors. So like typos, misspelled words, missing punctuation marks, or extra spaces. So it's like the final polish that makes sure everything is clean and ready for readers. So to put simply, so copy reading is like fixing and shaping the content to make sure it's stronger. And for the proofreading, so it's more like about cleaning up the surface to make it perfect. So both are important. So without copy reading, the article might be unclear or inaccurate. And without proofreading, it might have small errors that distract the reader. So that's why in campus journalism, so we learn to do both. So we can provide articles that are not only well written but also professional and trustworthy. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the copy reading and proofreading symbols. So, but before that, I want to clarify something that this camera is inverted. So, everything that you're going to see is in inverted form. So, it may affect the symbols that I'm going to share with you. So, let's have here first the transpose symbol, which is this one. So you are going to use this if you see some letters that or words rather that misplaced. So as you can see in the first example, so University Da of Philippines. So if you're going to put this symbol, so the word da is in the inside the first curve, and then the word of is also inside the next curve. So it's more like you're saying that the word of should comes first before the word the. So it should be University of the Philippines. So that's how transpose symbol works. So next we have here the delete symbol, which is this one. So you can use this symbol in order to delete letter if so specifically, so it's more on misspelled words. And then you can also use this in order to delete word. So for the first example, so write your name. So as you can see, the word right is misspelled because there are two letter T. So you can use this one, which is you you are going to put this symbol into just one specific letter T in order to tell that the word right should only has one letter T. So, and then for the next, so 3 new cars. So if you want to delete or eliminate the word new, so you can also use this symbol in order to tell that the word new should be eliminated. So it's going to be like this. So 3 cars. So that's how delete symbol works. Next, we have here the spell out. So specifically, it's more on encircling the words or letters, words rather. So as you can see in the first, in the example, so I have 2 cats. So as you can see, the word two is in the numerical form. So if you're going to encircle the number 2, so it's more like you're saying that the number 2 should be spelled out. So it should be, I have 2, which is TWO, cats. And then for the next, we have here the close-up symbol, which is this one. So it's more on if you spot something. So for example, in here, so wow, a green butterfly. And as you can see, the butter and fly should be together. So in that case, you should use the symbol close up in order to tell that the butter and the fly should be together and it should be butterfly. Okay, and then for the last, we have here the capitalized symbol, which is 3 horizontal lines. So you can use this, or you can put these symbols under a specific letter or words. So as you can see in the example, so Department of Health. And since Department of Health is a proper noun, which is a name of a specific organization or system. So the first letter in the word department, which is the letter D, should be capitalized. So you are going to put 3 horizontal lines under the letter D. And then for the word health, you are going also to put 3 horizontal lines under the letter H in order to tell that it should be, capitalized. So that's all for my part. So the next set of symbols will be discussed by May Auman. Thank you.
Hello everyone, since Miss Lucero discussed the other common proofreading symbols, so now let's continue discussing the other proofreading symbols. So we have here the lowercase symbol. So this is the symbol of lowercase. So the lowercase symbol tells the writer to change a capital letter to a small letter. So for example, if someone writes Attorney Romulo Sator but the format requires lowercase, the attorney would be marked with lowercase to change it to Attorney Romulo Sator to consistency in style. So the next is italicized symbol, or a straight underline like this. So this symbol is used when a word needs to be in italics, often for emphasis, foreign words, or titles. For example, in Eating Balot and Pinoy. So if these food names are meant to be italicized, or as they are native terms, they would be underlined to indicate they should appear as Balot and Pinoy in italics. So the next one is insert space symbol. This one. So this shows where a space is missing between two words. In the sentence, the children are crying. So there is no space between the and children. So the The insert space symbol indicates that a space should be added so the corrected version becomes the children are crying. So the next one is insert period or a circle with a dot. This one. So these symbols is used when a sentence is missing a period at the end. For example, in my name is Chua, the period is missing. So the insert period mark tells the writer to place a period, making it my name is Chua. So the next one is insert comma symbol. This one. So this symbol shows that a comma should be added to separate items or clarify meaning. So in I love dogs, cats, and birds. So the sentence is confusing without commas, right? So the insert comma symbol indicates the sentence should be changed to I love dogs, cats, and birds. So the last one is insert quotation mark symbols. This one. So these symbols are used when quotation marks are missing around direct speech. For instance, in he said I love you. So quotation marks should go around the exact word said, the exact word said. So the insert quotation mark symbol shows it should be he said I love you. So overall, proofreading symbols are marks used to correct errors or errors in writing. They help fix mistakes like wrong word order, extra or missing letters, incorrect capitalization, missing punctuation, and spacing issues. So each symbol has a specific meaning to guide clear and accurate editing. So that's all of my part. Thank you, everyone.
So hello, good day everyone. I am Mr. Indina, and today let's start by talking about the two very important processes in campus journalism, the proofreading and publishing. First, we'll be talking about the proofreading. So what is proofreading? When we say proofreading, it is the careful checking of a written article before it gets published. It focuses on spotting and fixing errors in grammar, spelling, punctuation, facts, and formatting. These small mistakes, if left unchecked, can weaken the credibility of the writer and the publication. When proofreading, we must also double check facts, names, and even sources. Accuracy is a journalist's greatest responsibility, and misinformation damages trust. To improve proofreading, there are few helpful tips. First one, take a short break before proofreading. When you step away from your work for a while, you return with a fresh perspective and are more likely to spot mistakes. The second one is read the article aloud. This helps catch errors that the eyes might skip when silently reading. The third one is use grammar and spell check tools like Grammarly or other platforms, but never rely on them completely. These tools can assist, but they cannot replace human judgment and a true understanding of context. So now, since we're done talking about the proofreading, let's move on to the publishing. When we say publishing, it is the stage where the article is finalized and released for public reading. In campus journalism, this process involves three major steps. The first one is the article must get final approval from the editors. Who are the editors? Editors ensure that the story meets the publication standards for truthfulness, fairness, and quality. Second, the layout team works on the design, arranging the text, images, and headlines to make the page attractive and reader-friendly. Finally, after everything is polished, the article is either printed as part of a physical school newspaper or either uploaded online depending on the school's platform. Publishing turns the writer's draft into a professional, finished product ready to inform, engage, and inspire the school community. So, this time, let's proceed to the importance of proofreading and publishing. Now, why do proofreading and publishing matter so much? First, accuracy. Proofreading ensures that all information presented is correct. Even one wrong detail can ruin an article's reliability and mislead readers. Second, credibility. Publishing polished and error-free articles builds trust with readers. It shows that the publication values truth, quality, and professionalism. This credibility is vital not just for individual writers, but for the reputation of the whole publication team and the school itself. Third, professionalism. A well-proofread and properly published article reflects a strong work ethics, attention to detail, and respect for readers. It shows that campus journalists are serious and responsible in their own work, preparing them for the bigger roles, journalism roles in the future. In conclusion, proofreading and publishing are more than just final touches. They are essential pillars of good journalism. When we take time to proofread carefully and publish responsibly, we do more than produce articles. We build a reliable, respected voices for our school and our fellow students. So proofreading plus publishing equals to quality journalism. So that ends my part. So thank you everyone for listening, and I hope you've learned something from my discussion. So to understand more about this concept, so let's welcome the next reporter. Thank you everyone.
So good day everyone. So in this part, I will going to talk about a photojournalism, the type of photojournalism and its importance. So first, let's talk about what is a photojournalism. So photojournalism, it is a way to communicate information through images, mainly illustrate or mainly photograph displaying the specific time, event, person, or accident. So photojournalism either illustrate a text-based story or news stories or work series of photograph or essay or in a news article. So basically, when we talk about photojournalism, no, it is a news through a photograph. These kind of images tend to appear in a news article, print news article, magazines, and as well as the online media sites and microblogging platforms. So that is for the photojournalism. Continue, let's talk about the types of photojournalism. So first on the list, we have documentary photography. So it is a type of photography that provides a straightforward and accurate representation of people, places, objects, and events that is often used a reportage. So that is for the documentary photography. Then we talk about street photography. It is a genre of photography that focuses on the capturing the candid moments in everyday life in the public places. Then we also have portraits. So it is an artistic way of capturing the person's body, their head, their shoulder. So yes, that is for the portraits. Then we also have the aerial shots. So aerial shots, taking pictures or photograph from high above the subject, such as from the aircraft or other airborne platform. Then lastly, we also have the war photography. So it is a kind of genre, or it is a genre of photography that depicts different social conflicts or to our environment, that also projects its effect to our environment and to our life. So that is basically for the types of photojournalism. Let's talk about the importance of photojournalism. So the importance of photojournalism, again, it is a visual way of communicating the information to our reader or viewer. So in this part, it is an artistic way to communicate what we really mean to our news, or it is a good way to to deliver the information, an artistic way of delivering the information. So photograph as visual stimuli trigger different reactions in the viewer through various components like the defined through the alone and shape, the brightness, the brightness of the object, the people, the composition, and the angle. So basically, when we talk about the importance of photojournalism, no, it is a kind of way of giving such good information to your viewer, and also it is a way to great way to capture the attention, the interest, and that also it tickles the mind of our viewers. So that is for the importance of photojournalism in the news writing.
So hello everyone, so now let's move on to another topic, which is the qualities of good photos in photojournalism. So photojournalism is more than just snapping a picture. It's about telling a story with a single frame. So good photos now tells a story better than text that comes with it. So in order for you to tell a good story or to tell your story, so your photos should also have good qualities. And here are some things or good qualities that you should know as a photojournalist or as a future photojournalist. The first one we have here is timeliness. So when we say timeliness, the photograph should capture a moment that is relevant to the current events. It needs to be of the moment, like providing visual evidence of what's happening. So think of it now as a visual news report. And next is we have objectivity. So while the photographer has a perspective, so the image should strive an unbiased representation of the scene. So it should accurately reflect reality without a manipulation or distortion of truth. So the viewer should also be able to trust what they are seeing based on that evidence or image that you capture. So the next is we have narrative. So when we say narrative, it is a strong photojournalistic image that tells a story. So it should have a clear subject and also the context that conveys information or evokes emotion in the viewer. So it might capture a key moment, illustrate a larger issue, or reveals something significant about the human condition. And the next is we have impact. So the photograph should grab the viewer's attention and also leave a lasting impression. So this can be achieved through strong composition, like compelling subject matter, and also emotional resonance or a unique perspective. So it should make the viewers or your audiences to stop and also think. So next is we have technical quality. So while the story is paramount, a technically sound photograph enhances its effectiveness. So this includes good focus, like appropriate exposure, and also effective use of light and shadow. And next is we have ethical consideration. So when we say ethical consideration, photojournalists have a responsibility to capture image ethically with a respect for their subject. So this involves avoiding manipulation, like respecting your subject's privacy or every individual's privacy, and also ensuring their well-being of each individual in that situation. And lastly, we have the context. So context, the photograph benefits from the accompanying captions or the text that provide crucial context on information, helping the viewer to understand the informations like the who, what, when, where, and how of the image. So in conclusion, an effective photojournalistic image is a truthful, compelling visual that informs and it also engages each viewers, offering a window into a moment and in time, and contributing to our understanding in the world around us. So I guess that's it for my part.
So now let's talk about the photo essay. So when we say photo essay, it's a form of visual storytelling that conveys a narrative or explores a theme through a series of carefully selected and sequenced photographs. It's a way to tell a story or express an idea primarily through images with minimal or no accompanying text. So like for example, remember in our first year when we did a photo essay project with Miss Ruban, right? So that's the example of photo essay. So I think that's all my part.
So yeah, good morning everyone. So now let's dive into the techniques in photojournalism. So we have here the framing. So when we say framing, it involves using elements within the scene, like the windows, the doorways, the tree branches, or like those architectural features to create a frame. So around the subject of your photo, like this naturally draws the viewer's attention to the focal points, and also it could add length or add depth to the image. So why it matters in photojournalism? Because it emphasizes the subject and context simultaneously, often highlighting the contrast, the isolation, or emotion in a story. So the best example for this framing is a photo showing a children peering through a broken window during a conflict. So in here, for example, the window serve as a frame, focusing the viewer on the child's expression while abruptly suggesting distraction or hardship in the surroundings. So that's the basically best example of framing. So next we have the leading lines. So when you say the leading lines, it is it is the visual lines in an image wherein it can guide the viewer's eyes toward the main subject. This can be the or it could be the roads or the fences, the railways or the walls or the shadows or even the direction of the crowd. So why leading lines is matters in photojournalism? Because leading lines, it helps control the way a viewer reads the subject and emphasizes the importance of the subject or movement within the frame. So the best example for this one is the protest march captured from above, where the lines of the street and banners all point toward a central figure leading the crowd. So the lines guide attention directly to that person, making the narrative clear and powerful. So that's the leading lines. So that's it. So for the third one, we have here the rule of thirds. So when we say rule of thirds, this is a compositional principle where an image is divided into a 3x3 grid. Like the key elements of the photo are placed along the grid lines or their intersection to create balance and visual interest. So why this rule of thirds matters in photojournalism? It because it avoids static or centered compositions, adding energy and flow to an image, which is vital for dynamic storytelling. So the best example for this one is a refuge walking along the cruise. A barren landscape is positioned on the left or position on the lower left third of the frame. So while the vast is empty, land fills the rest. So this composition emphasizes the loneliness and scale without needing a word. So for the last one, so we have here the anticipating the decisive moment. So when you say decisive, it can coined by Henry Carter Bresson. So this refers to capturing a moment at its peak. So when the scene's actions, emotion, and composition are in perfect harmony, so it's often fleeting, requiring the photographer to anticipate and react instantly. So why anticipating the decisive moment matters in photojournalism? It's because it creates images that are not only visually striking but also deeply meaningful, capturing the truth in a single powerful instant. So the best example for this one, no, an image of a handshake between two leaders right as they make peace, or a tear rolling down someone's cheek during a tribal verdict. So the power lies in the timing. It tells a full story in one frame. So I think that would be all about the techniques in photojournalism. So I hope you learned something. Thank you for listening and watching, guys.
So hello, good morning everyone, and now let's proceed to the last topic, which is the captioning. But first, let's define what is captioning. So what is captioning? Captioning in campus journalism is simply adding a short description to the photo or illustration. So it's like giving a mini story of that photo or illustration. So think of it as like giving information or context that the photo alone might not convey information. So what is the purpose of captioning in photojournalism? So of course, captions, it helps the readers to understand the significance of that photo. They provide details of what's happening in that photo, who are involved, when and where that photo was taken. So there are key elements, know that a good caption usually includes. So these are the who, the what, when, where, and why. So first is the who. So of course, in making a caption for journalism, in photojournalism, it's very important to identify the people in that photo. Next is the what. So of course, here you will describe the action or event in that photo or illustration. And next we have the when. So of course, so here it is also important to put the date or the time the photo was taken. And the where. So of course, so here when you make a caption, it is also important to put where was the photo was taken. So it indicates the location. And lastly, we have the why. So here in why, it explains the importance of the context of that event. So the why, it is optional, but it is helpful so that the readers will know what is the importance of that photo. So what is the importance of captioning in photojournalism? So captioning in photojournalism is very important because they enhance understanding. So of course, in making a caption in photojournalism, it clarifies the meaning of that photo or illustration, so it enhances the understanding. Next, it adds context. So of course, the caption, it provides the background information about that photo. So it provides the what, the where, the when, the when, who, and why. So it provides the background information, so it adds context. Next, it improves readability. So of course, these make the publication more accessible. And lastly, it makes the publication more visually appealing. So of course, in having a caption in photojournalism, it enhances the overall presentation of the photo illustration. So it makes the publication more visually appealing. So it catches the reader's attention. So with that, they will read the context or the information about that photo. So in short, a well-written caption can turn a picture into a powerful storytelling element in a campus publication. So captions, it is very essential for making images more informative and impactful to the readers, and also for the publication. So that's why it is very important to put caption in photojournalism because it enhances the understanding, it provides the background information about the photo, it improves the readability, and lastly, it makes the publication more visually appealing to the readers, so it catches their attention. So that's all for captioning, and that ends our report. Thank you so much for listening.